All right, we are live. Good evening. You're watching the Club Tracks TV show, and I'm your host, Noel Clubb. And welcome to Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250 and channel 251. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app from respective iOS and Android app stores, as the app is absolutely free. And while you download, please make sure to rate, because we always want to hear from you folks. We sure do, eh? Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks. Roku and Roku sticks are also available on all smart TVs from 2016 forward, eh? All right, good evening to all the viewers watching us around the world. Thanks again for joining us here on the show. Always a pleasure, so thank you very, very much. All right, just in time. Well, this guy has great timing, I gotta say.
I'm sorry, guys. I had technical problems on both my computers. I'm on my phone. Please excuse the little picture. I am thrilled to be here. Delyn, great to see you. Noel, great to see you. Mo, it's an absolute honor. What an album, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Truly.
I'm glad you like it.
Oh, it's fabulous. Noel and I were talking about it today. I've had it on repeat. I mean, it's everything you want from a Nectar album, and much more modern. You guys are legends and you're relevant, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. Fabulous work, though, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you. Absolutely.
Quite
relevant,
welcome.
Still rocking. Hey, still relevant, still rocking away.
Me away.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Blew me away.
That was big time rocking away. So yeah, it's actually, like I said, it's just great timing, because I was about to introduce you, and then you walked right on. So here we go. So without further ado, here's our main co-host here on the show. He also is a singer, songwriter. He's a guitarist working with several rock bands and artists in the New York City area. He's also established a solo artist himself. Please welcome from New York, actually, I should say New Jersey, by the way, from New Jersey, Mark, cool dude, Duda, to the show.
Yes, I am residing across the river now. I've lived in New York City and New Jersey off and on for a while. I was in the studio today myself, working out, the next album to Bodega Flowers, and just trying to figure out if Tommy Price is going to be healthy enough. I had Kazim Sultan on the last one. Kaz may be out with Todd Rundgren, who he's out with now. So it may actually be Kenny Aronson, who was on the other record. But at any rate, I'm going to have a great band together. And I spent half the session talking about how good this Nectar record was.
Very good. Right on.
And I barely made it in time because the traffic is ridiculous getting out. There's actually was practice for the New York City Marathon today. And so
I see.
We had to go a ridiculous way. And then I finally made it home, and I had technical problems. So my apologies. And I have been looking again. I've really been looking forward to this one, because we interview all kinds of artists, from all different genres and everything else. But Noel and I are huge prog rock fans. But I think this goes beyond prog rock. I think it gets into the realm of modern rock, with a nod to some classic things happening. But I was so impressed, Mo. It sounds so fresh, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You got it.
Yeah, well done. It's a great record.
We've been writing it over the last 3 years. When COVID hit, we spent some time writing with Rich Shalander, the guitarist, and myself. We write most of the stuff, and we put it together, and then we got together with Kendall, the keyboard player, and he put some ideas on it. And we're about to record it when Ron Howden, the original drummer of the band, he died on us. Just boom. We saw him on the Sunday, and the next day he died.
Yeah, it's so sad.
He was going to learn all the stuff, and we were going to go in the studio. So we had a cattle call for drummers, and the guy we got, Jay Dittimo, he used to play with Rich in Flying Dreams. I don't know if you've ever heard of Flying Dreams.
Okay, and he actually plays with a friend of mine named Chris Marksberry, who's a brilliant a singer-songwriter. But I've heard of Jay before, so
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Jay's good. He's very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So we spent 2 days uh, playing the new music at Rich's house,
Hmm.
and then I called up Surefire Studios. If you ever need a good studio, Surefire Studios in Long Branch is fantastic.
Oh, that's great. That's not
Good
that
plug.
far.
No,
Yeah.
it's
That's a good
not.
plug there.
And so we went down there. We did all the basic tracks live. It took us 2 days to do that and the percussion, and then we took it back to Rich's studio, and Rich put all the guitars on,
Mm.
and then we passed it to Kendall to do the keyboards, and then we Rich and I got together over the internet, and then I went up to New Jersey and we wrote all the words and went in the studio and did the vocals, and we did some acoustic guitar work. But the basic tracks are all live, and I think that makes a huge difference.
Yes, no
Oh,
kidding.
absolutely.
You feel
Yeah.
like you're moving with it, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't like counting. I don't like trying to count where you are. You know, it has to feel right for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, it definitely has that live feel, and it's
Yeah.
what's interesting is you're a highly technical band, but there's enough sort of raw energy in it, and maybe that's the live performance where
Yeah,
it's
I'm
like
sure.
I don't feel like I'm listening to like Tales from Topographic Oceans, no insult to Yes, or something that will bore me at times. That was a 32 minutes that moved fast, brother.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So you guys, did you find yourself cutting down the arrangements at all, or was it
no,
just what it
No,
was?
eh? That's
that's
pretty
what it
good.
turned out to be. You know, I think one song I think is about 10 minutes.
Hmm.
The first song, Mission to Mars,
Yeah.
that's the riff is something
Love it.
that I've done for years as a sound check. In sound check, I
Oh, is that
play that.
right, eh?
Yeah, and Rich said, "Why don't we just make something out of it?" So
Right
we
on.
started working on it, and I came up with the title Mission to Mars, and from then it took a life of its own. You know,
Yeah, yeah. That's a great
so
track.
we have Mission to Mars, and we have Long Lost Sunday on one side, and on the other side, I think the proggies song that we have is One Day High, One Day Low, and
Yeah.
then the last song is I'll Let You In, and that's starting to cross over onto the Christian radio stations.
It's
Fascinating.
beautiful. It's kind of a sentimental piece, but it's a beautiful listen, you
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
know?
is. Yeah.
yeah. I had no idea actually reached that genre, in terms of radio play. That's pretty
It would
cool.
be good because that would be another genre for us.
Absolutely, right? And
It,
who would have guessed that? You would have thought
right
that.
now, I think it's number 35 on Amazon product, not
Wow.
rock, not just
Christian.
Wow.
prog. Yeah,
Gotcha. That's
and
cool.
I think it's more rock. I mean, we've always been a rock
Yeah.
band, really.
Yeah, absolutely. How do
Well,
you
definitely more of a
explain the
rock album.
resurgence? Yeah, how do you explain the resurgence of this band over the last few years after, like, I mean, you guys made a name for yourself in the early 70s, and that, listen, I'm a child of the early 70s, so I get it. And
Yes, we
but
are.
but what is with the resurgence the last few years? How did you manage that?
Well, I I left the band in '78, and we put the band back together again in 2002 to do Nearfest in New Jersey, in Trenton. It was 3,000 seater. Once we agreed to do it, he sold out in 45 minutes. And so we played that, and then the boys wanted to go and play further different venues. We played New York City, we played London, we played Germany, we played a festival in Germany, Hertzberg, we
Mm.
played the Adirondacks. And at that point, I had three businesses. So
Oh,
I
okay.
I couldn't be on the road. And I said, get yourself a bass player and go on the road.
Okay.
And they did for a little bit, but it didn't really happen. And then Roy uh, took it. It did about four albums in the time from 2002 to 2016 when he died. And then in 2018, Ron called me and he said, "Do you want to put the band back together?" Well, I just retired, so yeah, why not?
And this is what I'm talking about. Like the last like 9 or 10 years or so, where you guys are really getting big again.
Yeah, it's starting to get there. We did an album, a double album. Uh, we did in 2020. That was called The Other Side.
Yep.
And we had all the music left over when Rich played with Nectar in '78. We had all the music that we wrote back then, so we just brought it in and spruced it up, and we had a double album. It just grew.
Yeah.
And then when we started writing Mission to Mars, that took a life of its own. It just felt good from day one.
Yeah. What a record.
Like we got something,
Yeah, we sure do have something there, I gotta say. We gotta move on to we'll do a quick intro for our second co-host here on the show and have the next question over from her, if I could. So here she is, our second special guest co-host here on the show. She's very talented, alternative cool rock artist out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Please welcome, without further ado, the very cool Delyn Gray to the show.
Awesome.
Woo!
That's that kid. You're up.
Welcome
Yeah,
back.
no pressure.
You're up. Exactly. You're up next.
Oh my gosh.
Put you on
No,
the
I'm so
spot,
happy to be here. Thanks for having me back. I'm really, really, really excited for
I
this
love
chat.
what I hear from you. I love
thank
watching
you.
your Instagram. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
I absolutely love what you're doing.
Thank you,
We're fans
guys.
over here. We're
That
fans.
means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm a fan of both of you, and Derek, of course, you as well. I do have a question for you because this is something that's actually come up quite a bit within my network of musicians as well. Similar in age. We're all kind of in the emerging stages, if you will, the artist development stages. And we're already feeling like there are some pretty big challenges, especially with social media and how things are kind of working out there. And I'm kind of wondering how over the years, you specifically, but maybe even the band, were able to come together and keep falling in love with music enough to keep it from becoming a chore or something that just felt kind of impossible to keep doing. Feel like it's a big feeling right now within the music community where it's like, wow, I don't have enough Instagram followers. This isn't worth it for me anymore. And therefore music isn't worth it. So I'm just wondering how you continue to just fall in love with music. Like what gets you up in the morning wanting to write, wanting to record, wanting to talk to the guys? And
I think that's in you,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing music since I was 7 years old. And I played classical. My sister was a classical pianist, and she taught me to play piano.
Wow.
And then when I was about 16, I joined a rock band and I played piano. And the bass player left, and I had to either play bass or we didn't have a bass player. We didn't have a band, And it's fairly simple. If you know what the chords are, you know the notes in the chords.
Good point.
So you can play any note and it works, And coming from classical, which is where I come from, I love cello parts. I love music.
Me
I love
too.
melody.
Love the cello.
Melodies, the whole thing. I mean, if you can play a nice melodic run or have something a little different out there, I think that keeps you going. You don't really think about, well, I've got to sell music because it's not practical today. I mean, today with Spotify and all these programs, they just play all the music for free. And unless they're a real staunch fan, they're not going to buy it. We're lucky. We have a lot of fans, so they buy anything that we put out.
Yeah.
But the only place when you're touring, it's very expensive to tour. The thing that makes money is merchandise.
Yeah.
Right.
Merchandise you can't. Well, you can buy it on a website.
The vinyl, the shirts, all of it, right?
All that, yeah. And we like vinyl. We did a double album with the other side, and also we did a CD. And with Mission to Mars, we did a CD, and we did a vinyl, which is a splatter vinyl, and it was mastered specifically for vinyl.
Wow.
Now,
Smart. You have to do that because the frequencies are. Tell us why you did that.
Yeah, I'll tell you. If you have a CD, not all the frequencies are on it.
Mm-hmm.
The frequencies are suggested to your ears from the way the CDs are made.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were gonna do a vinyl, best around 16 minutes is best, because the grooves can be bigger. You get a nice bottom end, you know. And if you mix it in such a way that all the instruments have their own space, now when you hear it, you might latch onto the bass, or you might latch onto a guitar, and that'll pull you through the music, and it'll make it interesting. Next time you might latch onto the bass or whatever, you know. And I think that's what's important. I mean, I was just writing today. I was just writing an article for, they're going to release Journey to the Center of the Eye, which we did in 1971.
Wow.
And I was just looking at that and writing liner notes for it. And I realized that album was 42 minutes. It was one piece of music, 42 minutes. So you figure each side is 21 minutes.
Right.
And I could never understand back then why I couldn't get the sound that I was getting in the studio. It just didn't seem as powerful. And that's the reason it was too long. The longer it is, the narrower the grooves can be on the record, and therefore you're not going to get the bottom end, the bass and the bottom end, the drums, and you're not going to get it. But this album, Mission to Mars, the sound is awesome. Definitely if you like vinyl, I'll make sure that.
Yeah,
we all do here. Yeah.
Talk to Chip and have him send you some.
No, right on.
Yeah,
that's great.
That'd be great. It's right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, vinyl is so true. I mean, there's no sound like it, really. Because I mean, it's like to have the band right in front of you playing live.
It's warmer. It's a lot warmer than a CD.
Absolutely.
It is. People use that term, but it's true. When you listen to digital music, there's a certain cold, impersonal feeling to it, and
Right.
I think that for some types of music that works. But if I'm listening to something that was recorded, particularly on magnetic tape, or with the intention of being heard on vinyl, then it isn't going to sound right if I'm not listening to it on vinyl.
Right.
I would never listen to a Pink Floyd album on iTunes. Just wouldn't do it.
No. But for some of the younger generation, they're quite okay with that.
Right. But that's all they really know, right? They don't really know anything else outside of that.
The studio that we record in, Joe DeMeo, the engineer, is a guitarist, so he knows what you need to do. And he has he's got all the gear going back for anything other than digital. But it records on digital, so you're recording it to digital, but you've got all analog. Everything's analog.
Right.
Like the clasp system is where you're using a 1/2-inch tape and it dumps it into the box so that you can do edits easier. But it's on magnetic tape, right? Like he probably has that kind of gear. Awesome.
It's really incredible. I mean, when he's got all the gear in the studio, it's like a church. It's a high building, but he has all the amplifiers in a booth, and you are playing in a circle, so you get the live feel. You get that. When we did the other side, we did a song called Drifting. I don't know if you've heard that album, but we did a song called Drifting, and we hit it first take. It was done.
Wow.
I listened to it and I said, boy, this, you can't get any better than this.
No.
So we added a vocal, we added a piano under the vocal, and that was it. It was live.
Wow.
And you can feel it, And with Mission to Mars, it just, when we were doing the basic tracks, they just felt great.
Mm.
And did you rehearse a lot to do that, or is it,
we'd been playing with it for a few years, and when we decided to have Jay, we brought him in and we spent a couple of days with him rehearsing, playing the music. Okay, we need to go to halftime here. This is the feel we're looking for, and he's very good drummer. He picked it up right away. He incorporated some of Ron's feel with his accents, and it was just great.
Yeah,
So I called Joe.
Work. Yeah.
I called Joe DeMeo. I said, Joe, I need to come down and do a few tracks. So we made time and we went down, and we actually booked 4 days, but we did it in 2.
It was a new record right there. I mean, never hear that anymore.
Yeah. Well, then there's a lot of work with the overdubs. Rich was doing the guitar work, and I'm bouncing backwards and forwards with him on Zoom. I'm listening to it and saying, a little bit of this there, a little bit of that. I busted his, what on I'll Let You In on the guitar solo. I said, I hear a guitar solo like something like the Beatles. Something that you're going to remember, something you're going to remember. And it came out great. I mean, Rich is a very underrated as a guitarist. He's really, really, really good guitar. And I write with him great. I mean, we have a good feel, and I think that's what you need. You've got to be able to feel each other,
Yeah. Got a connection for sure. And you are like top-notch musicians. I mean, let's just face facts. You guys are like up there in terms of being musicianship's incredible. So I find prog rock bands always has a demand to have that kind of high level musician to produce those imaginary soundscapes you guys create together.
Well, back in the day, Rich was in Fire Ballet. I don't know if you remember Fire Ballet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rich was the main guy. He was 16, I think,
Well, there's some wah-wah guitar on Mission to Mars that I just was amazing. Cool. I was like, you don't hear a lot of people use that
not anymore
effectively like that, right? And that was really, really tasty to me. So,
great point, Mark. Great point. That's great point.
Yeah, he did some great guitar work on that album. I'm thrilled with it.
Yeah, so you should be. It was tremendous. Yeah, I mean, that's one of my favorite cuts off that record is Mission to Mars, the title track. I love that track. It's a great track.
Thank you.
It really is. Well, actually, talking about gear, I want to ask you about Rickenbacker bass. I mean, that's such an iconic bass guitar. You've been playing it forever for a long, long time. Yeah. So what is it? To kind of educate us a bit more as folks that don't really know much about the bass guitar, but specifically in this case, a Rickenbacker. What is it kind of that, because it provides it that you find in your experience, it gives that unique sound or identity that you guys like yourself or Geddy Lee out there, or Chris Squire, that use it in such a beautiful way? Like, what is it that has that unique sound about it?
Well, mine's a 1971. I bought it new.
Ooh,
and wow. I found it had the growl. I liked the growl, but it didn't quite have the punch that I wanted.
That clankiness of the Rick, right?
Right. Yeah. So I put a Fender Precision pickup in the middle between the pickups.
Oh, really?
I have a mixer on my bass.
No.
So it's great sound. I love my bass.
So we got a Fender pickup in there. That's kind of the secret.
Yeah, I've got a Fender Precision pickup in between the Rickenbacker, in the 2 Rickenbacker pickups is the Fender pickup, and I can mix it. I can put them in and out of phase. And I can mix it on the top of the bass. I've settled on a sound right now that works for me. I find, especially in live, if you hear a lot of bands live, and the bass is just mud.
Right. It's
Yep.
lost somewhere in the sound.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
reason, there's a reason for that. You have to have on stage, you have to have a trebly sound.
Right.
Very trebly. But by the time that sound gets out into the audience, it's punching like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where you get off with the bass. My bass, I use 410s for the bass guitar, 410s, and I use a small, I think it's a 600 watt amp. I don't know what that means in old terms. It's only about the year big, you know. It's a Gallion Kruger. I really like it. It's very clean for a non-tube amp. It sounds great.
Yeah, for recording, those smaller amps can be really good too. That's so you've curated essentially your own bass sound, which just blows me away. But
Right. Well, I think it's important. It's important that you can play the bass and it can cut through and have its own space.
Right.
You know, if you're going to be doing something like Remember the Future, which is very melodic, or any of the new stuff, the Mission to Mars stuff, you've got to have a sound that cuts. You'll find that when you play, how you listen? If you listen to it on a CD or you listen to it on the music sent to you, do you have the CD?
I have the CD. Yeah, I got the CD. Yeah.
Do you have the CD, Mark?
Yeah, I heard it on iTunes just with earpods in. Yeah, so that's why I'd love to hear it on vinyl. I have a turntable and albums I really like, and certainly ones that were intended to hear on vinyl. I make it a point to go out and get them on vinyl. So I intend to somehow to listen to this on vinyl as well, because I think it's important.
You guys have my email address, I'm sure.
Yeah, now we do. Yeah, now we can. Yeah.
Talk to Chip, and if Chip can't get you a copy, I will get you a copy.
Right on.
Thank you so much.
It sounds good to me. So Chip, get on that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. We love it.
Was there any reluctance in fearing, because it's such a legendary band, that you wouldn't be able to make a new album that competed with the old stuff? Did that ever cross your mind? Was that a fear? Very cool.
I think if you believe in what you're doing, I was a big part of the original band. I helped write music. I wrote a lot of the words. Me and Mick and Roy did all the words. And I was definitely deep into the production of the album. So I knew when I decided to do this, I knew that we could do it. You know, I think if you have the feeling that you can do it, you're going to do it. It's going to be, I'm very strict in what I like. I'm very strict in what I like to hear and how I like to hear it. And I think if you do that, then you're going to end up with a good product.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the other side stacked up against the old music, and this music definitely stands up against the old music.
Oh yeah. No, I
said a lot of we got a lot of people saying you should put One Day High, One Day Low at the beginning of the album because that's prog. And we said, no, we're going to put Mission to Mars because it's rock.
Yeah.
And it rocks. And then the last part of it is very melodic. We love that part, and we didn't want to leave it out. It makes it a little long, but it felt really good.
And you have our attention by then, right?
Oh yeah. And then Kendall came in with a keyboard piece because we were wondering how the heck are we going to get out of this? You know, we're in it
Where's
now.
the ending now? Where's the ending?
Yeah, so Kendall came up with a keyboard piece at the end. We said, that's it. We'll go right into that. And he also did the orchestral part in the beginning of One Day High, One Day Low. We were looking for something on the beginning because when we recorded it, the bass was a little long in the front. So we said, let's take this piece. I want to drop it right on the track, and then we'll come out from underneath it. And that's exactly what we did. I mean, I think that if you, the order of the songs, I think is the right order.
Yeah.
It tells a story.
Good point too.
Right. It's all about a mission to Mars. And we're hoping to do 2 more albums that will be a trilogy. So it'll follow on. Each one will follow the other, you know.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. And I love that you announced that, because now I know it's going to happen. You've put it out there. Now it's on you to make it happen. The fans are expecting a trilogy, and you made it real by announcing it. So we're going to get 2 more.
We're going to do that.
No pressure there at all.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've already started writing. We've already started. I'm going to New Jersey on Tuesday. I've got some business up there. And Rich and I are going to spend 2 or 3 days putting stuff together. I'll go up there a few times over the next months. And then we go back out on tour in March, April. And then we go to Europe in July. And then we'll be out in October, November again. You know, it's very hard being on tour.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing an average tour for us is about 5,000 miles.
Jeez.
And we're driving it, you know.
And like, how long do you guys go for? Like 20, 30, 40 days? Like, what kind of?
No, 2 or 3 weeks. You know,
2 or 3
usually.
weeks, and you go off like about a week or so afterwards for a small break, or how's that?
Oh, you need at least 3 weeks.
At least 3 weeks. So 3 on, 3 off, 3 on, 3 off.
Yeah. Yeah, you need the time to recover.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're going and going and going and going, you know. But I enjoy playing for people. I enjoy, you know what I like? On the last tour in June, we did the entire new album within the set. And what I like is you're playing new music, you're telling them it's new music, because I promised them when next time we come, we're going to bring some new music. And they loved it. It was, I mean, I like to see the faces, because they've never heard it before. Watching the faces, and most of them are
right on.
Wow, where's this come from? You know?
Yeah, they're not walking out to get a beer when you're playing the new song. You have them right. That's how you know it's good, though.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. Totally agree.
So true.
I think that we have something with this, and we have some more tracks that we're working on. I'm really happy with it. So we have a good record company. Deco Entertainment is really good. Yeah, they're on Warner Brothers, and in Europe they're on Cargo, and Cargo is pretty big over there too.
Yeah, I put out a record on Cargo. Deco's great. I've noticed that they've got a nice roster of really talented artists. Yeah, small roster, but they're really curating a powerful roster of special bands.
I told him to talk to John Lodge to see if he wants to tour with us, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to find another band that draws people so you can give a full night. You know, I mean, we're playing about 2.5 hours set.
Oh, wow.
You know?
That's a lot of
set.
I'd be okay with an hour and a half, you know?
Yeah.
But we did an album right before Ron died. The last concert, the next to the last concert we recorded is called Journey to the Other Side. From the albums from Journey all the way through to the other side. And that was live. It was 2.5 hours. Wow. And it's on Blu-ray. You should try and get a copy of that too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Definitely. Where was that recorded?
It's recorded in Dunellen, New Jersey.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Is that close to you, Mark? Is that close to you, Delyn?
It's not far. It's probably 45 minutes from me. I'm in Bergen County. I'm right over the George Washington Bridge, so I'm close enough. You know, I spend a lot of time in the city. I was there today working in the studio, but my wife and I wanted to raise our kids where there was a little bit more room to play, and we thought there were better schools. And so we came out here to Jersey, but I'm actually 10 miles from the George Washington Bridge.
Right.
I could walk to New York if I wanted.
I know exactly where you are.
No, that's close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lived in New
Pretty
Jersey
cool.
for a lot of years. I lived in
Okay.
Chester, New Jersey. Chester's near Morristown.
It's a beautiful town. Yes.
Yeah. I lived there for 40 years.
Wow.
No way, because I know you're born in England originally, then you spent some time.
Yeah, I was born in England. I've lived in 26 countries.
No way! Wow.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Oh my!
And what were your other businesses? You mentioned you had a number of other businesses. I'm just interested as to what else you've done.
I was in plumbing and heating and construction.
Okay.
I was one of the pioneers of radiant heat.
Very cool.
Yeah. I was on the advisory board for H.E.R, which is the biggest company in the world for radiant heat. I was on the advisory board for 5 or 6 years. And I did all the design work for it. I had 10 guys working for me at the time. And it was a good business. It's an emergency, if you're in plumbing or heating in winter, you're on call all the time.
Right, 24/7.
Absolutely.
I was ready to get out when I got out,
And radiant is more and more popular in new construction, and it's it's a very effective way to heat a house.
Oh yeah, very effective.
So, yeah, that's really cool. I always like to see what other folks do. I like to pretend I'm a full-time rock star, but I work in cybersecurity for Meta. I have to support my family. I don't sell enough records. So, I'm proud that I'm able to do other things, and you should as well. It's when you have one foot in each world, it becomes that much more challenging to keep up and to be good at both things and to not be half-assed at both things.
That's the key. That's the key right there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you guys, both of you, have got to send me some of your music so I can have a listen.
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to.
That's so cool.
I love listening to new music.
That's so
excellent.
Cool. Is there any new bands that kind of captivated your attention in the last little while?
New bands.
Yeah, or maybe something new single-wise, or new bands like, those guys are pretty good.
None that jump into mind like, wow, I've listened to these. Life Signs is not bad. Not bad. There's a few bands that I mean, my favorite band all time.
Yeah.
Is the Beatles, without a doubt.
Oh, no question. They're in there's the Beatles, and then there's everybody else. It's not even a fair comparison, really.
I was listening when they came out with the new song they just came out with, Now and Then.
Right.
Beautiful.
I was listening to the bass, and I thought, how melodic is he? I didn't realize. I've always liked them, but the bass speaks to me, and I didn't realize it that I play very similar to how he plays. I don't know if it's affected us, but that's how I feel. We had what they called about Iron Maiden did some of our music.
I love Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, and Pink Floyd did some of our music as well.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's so cool they done that.
It's wonderful because a lot of people, Iron Maiden is, a lot of people get turned off by sort of the imagery and all that kind of stuff and the horror imagery. But they're actually, when you listen to them, they're a very progressive sort of metal band, if you want to call them metal. But
I agree.
Yeah. Steve Harris is a fabulous bass player. And when you talk about punch and the ability to use punch and communicate with the audience, he gets a great sound.
Yeah. I have to say, I think he stole some of that from me.
Right
He
on.
may have.
Right on.
Because Steve's a big fan of the band, you know.
No, right
Doesn't
on.
surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and I like them. So actually, they're going to be playing in Charlotte in a couple of weeks. I'm going to go down and see if I can get in to see them.
It's
Very
great. I've got tickets
cool.
when they're in Newark, New Jersey, so I'm looking forward to seeing them as well.
Yeah. The music industry is, I think, grappling its way back. It's trying to scrabble back right now. I noticed the Stones just came out with an album. They've not done an album in 20 years.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Mainly because they can't make any money out of it.
They're doing live
I know.
shows still too. Yeah.
And the Who, they've just come out with a new album.
Yeah.
All of them were really miffed that the way the world went into digital music and giving it away, basically. I mean, you could go on YouTube. If the album comes out on Monday, on Tuesday you can go onto YouTube and listen to the music.
So true. Yeah, very
That's
true.
how it is. You know, I mean, we have a YouTube site for Nectar, and you can listen to anything. You can listen to whatever. You could go on our website and see some of the music live that we've done. You know, but I think that's the only way you can compete nowadays.
Yeah, it's true.
You've got to let people have a listen, and hope that the true fans will go out and buy it.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Where they appreciate the art and they want to support the artist. And I'm not afraid to say that too. I've gone on social media and say, listen, I appreciate the plays on Spotify and the plays on YouTube and everybody else. But if you like what you hear, we don't really make any money from that. And I would
Right.
ask you to please go out and buy some physical product, because that's the way that we support our families. And that's also the way that we're able to keep the music going. If I don't make a certain amount of money from a record, it's tough for me to make the next one, because I don't want to take it away from, I've got kids looking at college, and it doesn't seem fair to do that. And so, yeah, I've gotten a little preachy about it over the past few years, but the devaluing of art in general is just something that's got me a bit miffed. I'll be honest with you.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's been a big shift for quite a while now, right? For about good 20 years of this shift going on, for sure.
Well, I think slowly it's starting to come back. I mean, we make more money with the merch.
Yeah.
Almost more than what we make for the gig.
Wow, really? That's excellent.
And that goes for like what, the vinyl, the CD, and the shirts and
Everything.
all that stuff. Yeah.
We do it all. We do.
You got to kill it at the merch table, or you don't really make any money on the show. Isn't that true?
Right. I have a guy that travels with us that his job is merch. That's what his job is. And you have to have that. You have to have somebody who's going to make sure that they see everything that they can buy, We take something from everything, and whatever we don't have, we can ship from our website. We have a store on the website, which is nectarsmusic.com.
Right. I just discovered that.
Music.com.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, let's give Delyn a little shot at a question here, eh? Fire away,
Delyn. Well, I was actually just going to kind of tack onto that and say, I find there's definitely some positive that's come with the streaming platforms, in the sense that, everyone's has access to so much more music than they would have previously. And the playlists are throwing new stuff at you all the time. And you may have not even found artists that you're listening to through friends or whatever it is, but there's kind of this missing intention in it. Like, we're not going out to the store anymore to go through the records, to go through the CDs and find the one that you've been dreaming of for years or whatever that is, and finally get it. You go home, you unwrap it, you smell it, you take out the liner notes, the artwork, and you sit with it and you listen. Like, you actually listen. I don't remember the last time, unfortunately. Well, actually, I really did listen to this album and I loved it, but it's so hard. Like, that you now have to work so hard to sit down and listen because everything's moving so quickly. And so I love that your fans are still buying merch as much as they are and supporting you guys in that way, because you're keeping that intention alive. And Mark, you saying as well, you know, we're kind of just devaluing the art. It really
and listen, you can't roll a joint on an MP3.
no.
That's a good point there. That's a good valid point right there.
Yeah. Do you know that's the reason that the Beatles had the White Album?
No, I didn't know
They
that
had
one.
the White Album so that you could roll stuff and it not get lost.
No, lose it.
Well,
Not lose
My
it.
gosh.
there you go.
Very smart by the Beatles again, eh? So innovative.
That's
Well
crazy.
ahead of their time. Well ahead of their time.
Derek, do you have a favorite Beatles album? Like, was there an album that really kind of changed your life a bit and you thought, wow, just wow. What did I just hear?
I think probably Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah.
Sgt. Pepper's just miles ahead of anything. I used to play in Greece, and I got to know Vangelis very well. Vangelis,
Brilliant.
you know Vangelis.
Oh, okay.
I got to know him very well, and we used to go to his house and jam. He had an organ as his house, and we'd play sometimes at the Copacabana with him. And he told me that when he heard Sgt. Pepper's, he just sat down and cried.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is light years above anything that came out at that time. I mean, if I had to say which was the next album I thought was really good, I mean, they're all really good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I think Abbey Road is very different. Very different
piece as well. Yeah, exactly. Very different. Very different. But also another record too to add on top of that list would be before Peppers was Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, which is another like really record, right, ahead of its time.
I think they influenced each other.
Yes, yeah. The Beatles were totally influenced by Beach. You're right. So true. So true. It's back and forth.
That's interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, that's very true. I heard that said by the Beatles in interviews over the decades. Many times, how influenced they were by the Beach Boys. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I like the Beach Boys. They went from being a surfing band,
right,
to being a progressive. They were definitely progressive.
They were, and and I'll build on your point too. I think what happened there was because when Brian Wilson went in the studio, he turned to the Wrecking Crew to become his supporting musicians.
Glenn Campbell, all those cats.
There's a loaded list of like just phenomenal musicians in the Wrecking Crew back in the 60s back then, and he had them backing him on the records. But you never know that until he actually revealed that in an interview many decades later. As Wrecking Crew actually did all those records with the Beach Boys, so it's made again a more inspiring and like upgraded sound because they were such great musicians playing on there. Yeah,
well, that's good. If you look back at the year that all this happened, there was a lot of great music out there.
Wasn't there?
But everybody was out there. You put a record out, it would make you some money, it would help you touring. We didn't even have merchandise as such, but we sold stuff, but not in the amount that you can do today, you know.
Yeah, very true, right? Very true.
But our record company used to say, we can tell where you're playing. As we're going up Germany, they could see where they were selling stuff, you know.
Wild. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Very cool stuff, man. It's just a great interview with you, man. I gotta say, very cool stuff. And before we get going, before we wrap it all up, really, I want to ask you too, like dream projects. Do you think you want to shoot for besides outside of next year? You want to pursue outside of the band, then to kind of on your bucket list of all the things out there.
A band that someday I want to see.
Yeah, in terms of like, what do you want to do with music outside of music that you have as in terms of a dream that you like to pursue before? You know, basically a bucket list kind of thing.
I've seen just about every band that you could think about.
That's crazy.
That would be pretty awesome. What about, have you seen Jimi Hendrix live?
Huh?
You ever see Jimi Hendrix live in your time?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh, do you ever hear Jimi Hendrix, the great Jimi Hendrix play live?
Oh yeah, I I knew Jimi Hendrix.
Wow.
Yeah, we used to hang out in Hamburg a lot. He's
Germany.
He was an
Oh
unbelievable guitarist. I've seen him take guitars and just turn them upside down, and I know the guy. He took the guitar off this guy, and he just turned it upside down. The guy said, "That's my guitar." He couldn't believe the sounds that were coming out of it.
Yeah, I've heard Jeff Beck do things like that too. Though,
Yes.
I'm going to tell you, Jimmy was one of the nicest people you could wish to meet.
Wow.
He was very, very, very humble, and he's just a beautiful person. I was very sad when he died.
Oh yeah, I would think so. Because I mean, that was such a loss to the community of music, and not just musically speaking, but like you're saying, I've heard from a lot of people. He's such a really special, super nice guy as well. So
I mean, what was he? I think he was about 27 when he died.
Yeah,
exactly. He was humble too. Everyone told him how great he was, and he was really very humble about that.
Very humble, yeah.
Kind of brush it off. It seemed a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
A lot of ways for sure.
And here we are all these years later talking about him. It says a lot, you know.
It says a lot.
It's only 3 years of work. The guy did like 3 years of work, and he's touched the world in such a huge way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing to think about. And this is honestly, this is one of the coolest interviews we've done in a long time. And I've got to tell you, Mo, this is for me not blowing smoke up your rear end. This is my favorite. This is my favorite record of 24 so far. So
very good.
I haven't heard anything that competes with it. So
very good.
Congratulations.
Well, let's hope that we can continue to sell it. I mean, that's the deal. And you guys
talk it up.
Music, right?
Yeah, Mark, send him some music. Hey, come on now.
YouTube, you're going to send me music, and
absolutely.
And Noel, you're going to talk to about getting the albums.
Yeah, would love it.
If you don't get them, you send me an email, and I'll make sure you get them.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure.
So cool. I mean, you're such a legendary guy, and to have this connection with you, and it's again, like Mark saying, this interview with you, it really was a special hour with you. So thank you.
Yeah, I won't forget it. Awesome.
And have Lynn join in too with us on this special one. Very good.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. This was such a pleasure.
We missed you. It's great to see you doing so well.
Thank you.
Definitely. Keep up the great work, great songs, great songwriting. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I want to hear. You were saying that. I want to hear what you're doing.
Thanks a lot, guys. You built it up. I was gonna go back.
Whatever. Whatever. Yeah, she's good stuff. Don't worry. And also, thanks again, Derek. It's just a great interview with you. Great, tremendous record. Like Mark is saying, I think it's one of the best records so far of the year. And the year there's much left to go here.
No doubt.
Mars is tremendous. I love the single too. It's a great single. That's actually been playing the most actually in my playlist is the single the most. I just love that guitar riff. Yeah.
Well, I think they're gonna do. I'll Let You In now as a. I don't know what to call it, but they put the words on. Well, I don't know what to call them.
A lyric video.
Yeah, there's going to be. Well, there's a video on Mission to Mars, and they're going to make a video now of "I'll Let You In," and they're probably gonna do all of them. I would think.
I would think so.
Awesome.
They're doing a good job. I have to say, they're doing a great job.
Oh, I mean, you was a great group too. H.E.R. It's a fantastic group. But yeah, I mean, your album really lends to that kind of visual aspect. You know.
Really does. Well, I don't know if you know this, but we have a light show that is absolutely awesome. It's all digital, and Mission to Mars and One Day High, One Day Low is all in 3D.
It's very cool.
So you get these glasses.
What?
Okay, now you're talking. And
it's like for us, it's like looking at the cinema in the 50s.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's got the glasses on, the dodging stuff. You know,
I love it. I love it.
Even in the 80s, we had a few movies like that with 3D glasses. I remember. Yeah. Very cool.
Well, listen, let's do this again. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, please do. Absolutely, please do. It was a fantastic time with you. Again, it's like hanging out with another friend, another colleague, kind of a thing, but in a really cool, special way. So thank you. So thank you, Derek. This is Derek Moore of Nectar. Thanks again. Real pleasure. And folks, check it out. Mission to Mars. What a record. What
amazing,
what a record.
Amazing, guys. Check it out.
Yes, please do. And of course, check out Delyn Gray over here, Toronto alternative rock artist. She's pretty cool too, eh? And Mark, cool dude over here out of New Jersey. Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Very cool.
All right.
Well, thanks, guys. And thanks again. Check out Zillow TV for all the news on channel 251, 250, 250. Watch us, hear us, read it, download it, love it. Thanks, folks. Thanks again. All the best. And thank you, Derek. Thank you, Delyn. And thanks you, Mark. Thank you. All the best.
You're welcome. Peace, guys.